Hello, hello, hello. Well, I'm still trying to get my Facebook Live app to go landscape. But for whatever reason, I am not able to do that. Before I start the show today, what I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about Maverick here. Maverick is a bed bug detection dog. He's about 5 to 6 years old because we don't know because he was a rescue. But he is a fantastic dog. He's a very loving dog, usually to one person, a male or female, doesn't matter. It was probably one of the best bed bug detection dogs that we've ever trained. Now, he doesn't look like, come here, Maverick, come here. He doesn't look like that he would be the breed that we would use for a bed bug detection dog, but he worked. One of my former trainers, Nicole, tested him and thought he would be fantastic. And he was. For many years, for 4 years, maybe 5 years, he's done many searches on trains, in movie theaters, and of course apartments and dorms and senior living facilities and that kind of stuff. His problem is that he can be aggressive towards people, but not right on cue. But he's after the toy. But not to the people that he loves. He bit me when I first met him on the hand, and very, very strongly, and had to kind of get him to let go. But from that point on, no other incidents. But that's when I first met him, before he knew me. And right after he bit me, we went to do a search. Right at that very second he came off of my hand, I started my search, and he found the bed bugs and alerted. So he's kind of clear-headed in his aggressiveness. It's not like super crazy, but he is aggressive. The reason I'm telling you this is because he needs a home. We cannot keep him here. As many of you know, I have 5 children, and one of them is the age of 2, and then they go up from 5, 8, and 10. And then my older daughter, 22. And he cannot be trusted around kids. And so they're not here right now. They're traveling. They're in Minnesota right now. And so when they come back, he's got to find a home. He can't. I don't want him to live in a kennel for the rest of his life, because that's what would happen with him. He's already spent enough time in a kennel. He's happy here. He's a loving dog, and he's just very, very sweet. But he needs to go to a home where it's a single male, female, maybe even a couple. But if he gets startled or surprised by somebody coming in the backyard, he will take them out. I can tell you that, because that has already happened. He bit another person. He was staying with a family member. They got connected. As a matter of fact, that family member used to work in our kennel, and so he and the dog very, very connected. One night, one of the other family members came home late at night and startled Maverick, and he did bite him. So that is who he is, and I don't want him to spend the rest of his life in a kennel. I don't. The other alternatives is that is that he's just the other alternatives, because he is that aggressive to other people. Again, not to the people that he loves. People can walk him in the kennels. Once he attaches himself to the walkers at the kennel, he's fantastic, and he will continue. He will still search for bed bugs. I've done searches with him around people in their homes, and he doesn't pay them any attention while doing the search. So he's not that kind of aggressive where he's trying to bite everybody. It's usually when he gets cornered, or he gets surprised by the person that he doesn't know. I've come into the backyard here in the middle of the night and other stuff, and he can see he's measuring me who I am, and then once he sees it's me, then the tail starts wagging, all that kind of stuff. He's very well trained. You can see he really likes the toy. We're going to give him a little bit of food here, and this is something you've obviously seen us do before with dogs, that they have to sit and stay and then look me in the eye and pay attention to me and wait for me to give them the command to go. And I can do that and shut the kennel door, and nope, nope, no, sit. Oh, he just made a liar out of me. He will stay there even with the kennel door shut. He does. But he knows what he's supposed to do. He keeps, every time he hears my voice, start to go, he wants to go, okay, eat. And he will go and do that. So that's Maverick. Again, I'm hoping somebody that's watching this has a place for him, and just really, really hope that is something in his future that we can do for him, because he's served us well. Again, he's a loving dog. He rolls on his back. He loves his belly rubbed and all that kind of stuff. So that's Maverick, and so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. Yesterday was National Dog Day, and I saw many people posting pictures of their dogs. I know Lauren over at Western Exterminator with her dog Honey, who still takes her dog to work even though she's retired. Had a picture of her dog at work sitting on her chair and helping her with some paperwork. That was an awesome picture. And then some other folks had some pictures and just giving a shout out to National Dog Day. Now Maverick's going to find a toy and he's going to come bug me and probably knock over my tripod and my iPad. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So great job, you guys, with National Dog Day. As I, of course, have a lot of followers that have dogs, and you did not forget your dogs. Next year, I won't be surprised by National Dog Day. It really did. I woke up in the morning and on the news broadcast, heard it was National Dog Day, and was not prepared for National Dog Day. All right, see, I told you. That's how bad he wants to play with a toy. Okay, Maverick, I may have to put him in the kennel and then he doesn't want to let go. Right? How many dogs do you? Hey, no. Good. That's not going to help. He's going to bring it back and knock us over. All right, let's talk about a little bit of news that is in here. And there's a couple of things. The very first story I want to talk about is right up our alley, and that is an article out of, I did see that earlier. Where is it? It's out of CBS this morning. It's out of the network CBS. And I don't see it's in Vancouver. Vancouver, and I'm guessing Canada. I don't know that it's Vancouver, Washington, but I'm guessing that it's Canada. So there's a dog named Angus. Angus is a hospital dog trained to sniff out deadly superbugs. According to the Centers of Disease and Control and Prevention, even many of the nation's leading medical institutions are losing the battle to protect patients from drug-resistant bacteria. The superbugs cost the healthcare industry about $5 million a year, but one hospital in Vancouver has come up with a canine solution, reports CBS News correspondent John Blackstone. With his remarkable sense of smell, Angus, the Springer Spaniel, is on a mission to track down the most common kind of hospital superbug called Clostridium difficile, or C. diff, which is considered a hazard level urgent. I guess that means that it's very dangerous and they need to have it out now. It's a big problem. Their sense of smell is above and beyond anything we can comprehend, said dog trainer Teresa Zerberg. C. difficile is a bacteria. It forms spores so it can persist in our environment for long periods of time, said Elizabeth Bryce of the Vancouver Coastal Health Infection Prevention and Control. Now, spores, obviously, for those of you that maybe don't know, are things that come off of the bacteria and fly through the air and then attach themselves to wherever they land. And that's the same thing as a mold. Mold does the same thing. They have spores that get sent out into the environment, and that's kind of what people breathe in regard to mold that causes them the flu-like symptoms and respiratory problems and all that kind of stuff. So, C. diff is caused by antibiotic use or contact with contaminated surfaces. It's highly contagious and sometimes deadly, causing 500,000 infections in the U.S. So I'm guessing this is Vancouver, Washington, because they're talking about the U.S. now. Each year, and killing 15,000 people. We can't see it with a naked eye, but Angus can smell it. And Angus is a really Angus is a really cute dog, kind of like Maverick. It will always be present in your hospitals. So what we're trying to do is control it. That's where Angus comes into play, Bryce said. He's trained to detect C. difficile in the environment. The advantage for us is he alerts on something that we can do. Then we can do additional targeted cleaning, and we're going to couple it with our ultraviolet disinfection machines. 3 years ago, Zerberg, who is the trainer, was training bomb and narcotics dogs when she contracted C. diff herself and nearly died. Her husband, a nurse at Vancouver General Hospital, suggested she try to train a dog to detect the superbug. I said, it's got an odor. This is her talking. I said, if it's got an odor, I can train a dog to find it. And that is true. And so there's more to the story, but it's all about detection dogs. And this dog started training at 10 weeks old and then continued on to do what it's going to be doing now. Now, it just recently got finished training. We just finished another one of our mold detection dogs for a gentleman out in San Diego. We just got contacted by another mold detection dog in Vancouver, Canada. And so these molds and things that dogs can be trained to find is actually a thing. We trained a dog for E. coli salmonella detection in produce, and we just got contacted again by the state of Arizona to help them with a detection dog program for that very same thing. So it is a great resource, not a resource, it's a great tool for this type of issue. And it is, it's something the dogs can do. We proved it with UC Davis during our E. coli salmonella detection program. The dogs that we were training were detecting the presence of the contamination in 0.01 microliters of contamination, which is very small. When you hear the word liter, you sound a lot, but no. When it's microliters, we're talking about a microscopic that the dogs are able to detect it on produce. And so it is going to be very interesting to see where this goes. The interesting thing is that some hospitals are very, not against, but they're very curious about bringing a dog into a sterile environment to do these searches. But I'm sure that they figured out a way to do it in a way that's probably after somebody's been there and before cleaning, and then the dog comes in and does their thing and detects whether that something needs to be extra, it needs extra service of cleaning or whatever that may be. And so I think this is a great use for the dog. I'll be really interested to see how this pans out, and we'll try to keep an eye on it and see what's going on. But really, I'm glad. I get contacted for a lot of different things. Wineries have this bug, I guess, that's when it gets on in a field of grapevines, it just can destroy the entire crop, or a good portion of it. And so we've been asked to train a dog to detect that bug that's, I guess, apparently very hard to find or see, especially in the early stages. The early stages of any bug in the early stages of life is a very small bug and is really, really hard to find. What else? Peanuts. Obviously, you've heard about Lola, the peanut detection dog. She alerts on the presence of peanut contamination or residual we did it on remote control for the television set. I was eating some peanuts. I kind of brushed off my hands like this. I touched the remote control. I put it down next to the nightstand. I brought the dog in to search, and she alerted on the remote control. And that was after a period of time of waiting from the time that I actually set that odor. So dogs can do this. Really, really cool. So good luck to Miss Zerberg, the trainer of the dog, and I lost the name of the dog. What's his name? Angus. I wonder why they named it Angus. Reminds me of a steak more than anything else. But Angus, I'm sure, has a good history name. All right, let's go to one of our stories that we had some time ago. It was about a week or two ago. And that was about this dog that attached itself to an extreme marathoner. And it was in China that this dog was a stray. The dog's name was Gobi, if you remember that story. Apparently, while they were waiting to get this dog to where he lives, I believe it's in the UK, the dog escaped, and they lost the dog. So Gobi, a stray dog who ran alongside an extreme marathon runner in a 155-mile China race. Now, I just 155 miles. I have to run at our gym every so often in the morning. The farthest we run is 400 meters, and that's too far for me. So I can't imagine 155 miles in China. It's over a period of days, of course, but still, that 400 meters that I do in the morning at the most. Sometimes it's only 100 meters. Even the 100 meters is a little too far for me. That's just out to the driveway and then back. So the dog has been missing for nearly a week, escaping the temporary home she was staying at until Dion Leonard could transport her to the UK. On Wednesday, someone called Leonard saying they found the dog that looked like Gobi. CNN reported when Leonard arrived at the caller's home, he was greeted by his furry friend. And so that dog has been found. So if you heard that dog went missing, that dog has been found. And so there's always these extra little side stories that pop up on my alert. And so that was really good. When I saw it says missing marathon dog Gobi found, I just wonder what I thought the dog was already found, but it escaped and got away. And they found the dog again, which is awesome. I'm really happy for that dog, who was probably living in the streets of China, and just fending for itself, wondering where its next meal would come, and now he's going to have hopefully a forever home. The way that this dog kind of gets around, maybe it's going to be difficult keeping that dog in one place. Let's go to Boston. In Boston, this is kind of a fun story about cops, because there are so many things about police officers in the news, that they're shooting the wrong people, and they're horrible people, and that their lives don't matter, and all this kind of stuff. Well, in Boston, the police officers there covered the vet bill for a dog who took a bullet for his owner. An innocent young woman and a family dog were struck with bullets after an argument erupted in gunfire in a Boston neighborhood early Thursday. According to CBS Boston, police are still searching for the suspects in the shooting of 18-year-old Deshae Mizrahi, who is now in intensive care unit. The teenager was reportedly shot 3 times as she ran for cover. But officers believe there could have been at least one more person injured if it were not for a 10-month-old Mastiff mix named Felony. Funny, the dog's name was Felony. When this all happened, it was a felony being committed. Sorry about my phone in there. Who knew the house phone? That house phone hasn't rung in probably 6 months. When Boston officers arrived on the scene in Dorchester, Massachusetts, the dog's owner told police the pup jumped in front of him. The way I look at it is that this dog put himself in front of his owner and took a bullet for him, Officer David Lentigun said at a press conference later that day. After making sure the shooting victim was transported to the hospital by EMS, the cops rushed the dog, which had been shot in his front leg, and his owner to the Angel Animal Medical Center, where they were told Felony would need an expensive surgery. The dog's owner said he didn't have the funds to pay for the treatment. That's when 3 officers decided to step in and split the cost. Together, officers Lentigan, Brian Smith, and Sergeant Tommy Brooks put down a credit card to cover the initial cost of $1,545. It's just a natural human response to somebody in need to help them out with their family, Lentigan said. Dogs are family. What a great thing. I mean, there's so many opportunities, I know, for law enforcement to do something like this, and I often see it. It happens a lot more often than is actually reported, that they will go the extra mile, maybe give somebody a ride that needed a ride somewhere, and work as an Uber for somebody that's lost or confused and that kind of stuff. I know children that have had their wheelchair stolen, and all the cops get together and buy the child a new wheelchair. I know of times where somebody just needed a place to stay for the night and pitched in for a motel for somebody and a family just to stay at for a couple of nights, just so they could take a shower and have a place to live. This happens a lot more often than is reported. I'm glad that the Boston Police Department decided to take the time to report on this and make it a story. Lentigan kind of related a story that 3 years ago, a pit bull named Lily as a companion for his mother, who suffered from alcoholism nearly her entire life. The pair formed an unbreakable bond. A few months ago, the 8-year-old dog risked her life for her owner, which is his mom. Just after midnight on May 3rd, the engineer of a freight train watched the dog frantically pull an unconscious woman away from the tracks, according to a blog about the pet's heroic act. Lentigan's mother was unharmed, but Lily suffered from a fractured pelvis and other internal injuries. Her front leg needed to be amputated. Lentigan will never forget about the sacrifice Lily made for his mom, and now he's paying it forward by making sure Felony gets the help he needs. A Facebook posting detailing the dog's needs, posted by Lily the Hero Pit Bull, is going viral with nearly 2,000 shares. Dozens of people have already offered to help, and hopefully they'll get enough money to cover the full bill. So that's pretty awesome. These cops stepped in when necessary to take care of this dog, who the dog was in a bad spot or in a good spot for the human being, and took a bullet for its human. And it's obvious that this dog needed to be looked after and taken care of. I don't know when this happened, but it may have been on National Dog Day, August 26th. And so great story there. Good job, Boston police officers. I like the one officer's name. His name is Tommy Brooks. That sounds like a Boston cop name. Come here, Tommy. Come over here and arrest those people and put the handcuffs on. I don't know why that came to mind there. So good job, you guys. I'm really proud of those officers that stepped in. Now, for one of my last stories here, I'm going to kind of scratch my head and think, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. But pet cloning lab in South Korea starts military dog program. And so this comes out of Seoul, South Korea. It takes a special dog to be a military canine, and a South Korean scientist believes he has found a way to make sure there's always a full supply by cloning them. The SOAM Biotech Research Foundation has started a pilot program aimed at replicating the creme de la creme of military and police dogs. This story comes out, by the way, out of Stars and Stripes, which is the military newspaper. We're looking for the top 1%, says John Brannon, a trainer in Pennsylvania working with SOAM. Some dogs are generally predisposed to be superstars. SOAM on the western outskirts of Seoul is best known for cloning pet dogs for the lofty sum of $100,000 each. Clients have included the Crown Prince of Dubai and a British couple who took home 2 puppies that are a genetic copy of their boxer Dylan earlier this month. More than 800 dogs have been cloned at the foundation run by Hwang Woo-suk, a research and veterinarian who is trying to repair his reputation after being publicly disgraced for falsifying stem cell research more than a decade ago. The canine cloning would fall under the foundation's mandate to help human welfare, and the cost would be negotiable and likely lower if the dogs are sold in bulk, a spokesman said. The idea started with the failing health of the beloved police dog that helped find the last survivor in the rubble of the World Trade Center. Trucker's handler, a 2008 contest to have the German Shepherd cloned, and his legacy lived on with the birth of 5 pups. SOAM went on to work with partner organizations to find and clone other highly skilled canines, and with proven track records in working with quick response teams to hunt criminals and uncover narcotics. So far, its biggest recipient is South Korea's National 119 Rescue Service, but it also has sent 3 cloned dogs to a U.S. police dog training facility in Pennsylvania. Demand is on the rise for canines, elite dogs that play important roles in combat, bomb detection, narcotics investigations, and other operations. As a sign of respect, every military working dog is considered a rank higher than a handler. Many have been awarded medals for saving lives. But breeding and training programs are costly, often inefficient. For example, the school that trains canines for the Department of Defense has found that the suitable rate runs about 50%. I think that's a little high. So the program tries to train about 200 dogs per year to produce 100 that are serviceable. SOAM's program, still in the experimental stage, aims to eliminate the guesswork. Brannon, the president of Shallow Creek Kennels in Pennsylvania, it's helping test SOAM's program of the training facility north of Pittsburgh. He received 3 dogs cloned from military that deployed to Afghanistan. Brannon is still training 1, but says the other 2 are working for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and have lived up to their promise. Well, that's good. So they have proof. I would like to see these dogs, just to see, because I just want to see for myself. Not that I don't necessarily believe what's written here, but you never know how things go over there. So this goes on and on and on. It's a really, really long article, and I'm not going to read it all. You're already bored about how much I read, but very interesting. I don't know. If they reduce the cost, say it's $100,000. Say it's $100,000 a dog. Even if they reduce the cost to half, that's $50,000 per dog. Right now, the cost of a police dog from the time we search for it, find it, get it ready for through training, and all the health and stuff like that, usually it's somewhere around $13,000 to $15,000 right now. So that's a lot less than $50,000 a dog. So I'm not sure where. I mean, even if we spent more time, let's say we spent more time searching for the dogs and going to the places where we go to, and we go to Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, Germany, even Hungary from time to time, even China. I know that there's some dogs been found out of China. Mexico have produced some really good dogs. One of our best dogs in Palm Springs Police Department that we produced came out of Guadalajara, Mexico. And and you just take the time and you test the dogs and you find them. I guess when you're looking for hundreds, you're looking for another solution because it's hard to find hundreds. And just, I'm not sure cloning is the answer. It might be. That's why I would love to see those dogs and see how they operate and see how good they are, because I would just be really, really interested to see how they operate. That's so interesting. So cloning, that's the next thing there in police work. Oh, interesting. So there was another story that I'll probably talk about next week because I just want a little bit more information. But I've talked about Dallas, South Dallas. It has a huge homeless dog issue, and they're talking about thousands of dogs that are in the streets of southern Dallas. And they're trying to figure out, how do we solve this problem? And neutering obviously is an important aspect that needs to be looked at. They need to figure out how they're going to capture these dogs, neuter them. I guess there's dog bites. A lady was mauled by a loose dog over there and that kind of stuff. So very interesting thing happening out there in Dallas. If there's anybody that's watching that's in the Dallas area, I know a couple of friends of mine that watch on occasion are from the Texas area. I would really love to get in contact with somebody out there to find out what their plan is for all these dogs, because I think that they definitely need some type of training program for the people out there in Dallas, that when they adopt the dog, that they understand what's involved in training, the importance of training the dogs, and to maintaining that relationship and understanding how the dogs need to be kept in an environment so that they don't run away and escape. And so we have online programs that could be given with every dog that's adopted or something like that. I don't know. There's got to be a solution for all these dogs. Again, thousands. Are they going to begin euthanizing these dogs? What's going to happen with all of that? When you begin doing that, then you have outcry from the community. What is the plan? And so they say there's a plan, but when I read the article, they didn't say anything about the plan. That's why I didn't bother bringing it up. But so my reason for bringing it up now is that if there's anybody in Texas that has a connection there with the animal welfare organizations out there that are dealing with this problem, I would love to find out what the plan is, or what they're working on, or if they even have a plan that's going to address that. But it seems to be a fairly big problem. One of the things that I also didn't bring up in an earlier live broadcast, because I was talking about National Dog Day and trying to keep it positive, is that in Kuwait, one of my contacts out there who was dealing with the Kuwaiti dogs that were being euthanized, that were part of a security force, they while they were over there dealing with that, they came across a market, an outdoor market, where they were selling goods and I guess vegetables and fruit and that kind of stuff. And they came across these dogs that were tied to a fence. And apparently they're selling these dogs, and what they're selling them for, I don't know if it's pets or what, but they said it was very, very hot. The dogs are tied to a fence out in the sun. None of them had water present for them, and were panting and looked in very like they were in a very dire situation. And this apparently is a problem that people don't understand dogs and don't care. Some of the dogs were beautiful dogs. They included German Shepherds, and I think I saw Malinois. I can't remember from the video. But just another thing that's happening out there in Kuwait. I'm not sure why some people have this thing with dogs that is just so inhumane, and don't understand the companionship that these dogs have with the human beings, or the desire to play with a toy, and then how entertaining these dogs can be. I almost wish this toy wasn't out here, because when there's not a toy, you'll see how he hugs up against your leg, Maverick I'm talking about, and just is really, really affectionate. You would never know that this dog is aggressive by what you're seeing here in this video. And so if you want a dog like this, please help me find a home for this dog. He just cannot be at my home because I have children, and he has shown that he will bite people, and he's not afraid to do it. It's not even fear. And so a lot of bites happen out of fear, like fear-based aggression. He's not fearful. He just is protective of his property, protective of his human being. And if you want a protection dog, if you want a dog that you know for sure will take an intruder out, this is the dog for you. I'm sure at 5 or 6, like I said, I think he has not lost a step, and he will have no problem protecting you. He just cannot be in a home with children, and I would say only a couple. Not a house where there's other family members and things like that that kind of walk in and out, because he really is a one-person dog, but loves to play, and he loves to search. Right? He's not as effective as he was once before, but I'm sure with anybody that maybe has a bed bug detection dog business, if you want to take a chance, not take a chance with your customers, just take a chance with the dog. Maverick is a fantastic dog. There's a sit behavior for the alert, and he's just so good. All right, that'll wrap it up for this Falco Dog News live broadcast. Make sure and click on the link above if you are brand new to our show, that FalcoCanine.tv.com. That's where you're going to find a free report on training your dog with love and respect, and how to have a long-lasting relationship with your dog. That report's for free. Just click on that and go right there. And visit FalcoDogTraining.com if you want some of our videos for dog training and some of our programs. You can get into one of those. We have our dog owner training. We have our day-to-day dog training. We have feeding your dog raw and natural. We have, dog park etiquette 101, how to get really good results from actually visiting the dog park. I'm usually against dog parks unless you have a plan. Go there with a plan that you're going to create a better relationship between you and your dog, and you can do that. Oh, don't knock over my iPad. Nice. And so that program's in there. We have German Shepherd rescue and shelter training. That program's in there. It's a number of videos. There's probably a couple hundred videos, training videos in there that talk about all these different things. And so there's plenty. Oh, Train the Dog Trainer training program. We have that in there. And so just go visit FalcoDogTraining.com, and you'll find all of those programs in there. And many of them are very, very affordable, like $7, right? And that's and you can get that training in there. And then we have the more expensive would of course be the Train the Dog Trainer, and then our dog owner training program. So they're all in there for you. And I think that's all the announcements I have. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for visiting my house. We're here in my backyard. I wanted to do this off the phone and not off the computer today because for whatever reason, some of the shows have been cut off using the computer, and I'm not sure why. I have not quite figured that out. I've contacted some of the people that, or the third-party app that I use to be able to do that. Not sure why that's happening, but I also wanted to be able to show you Maverick, this fine buddy of mine, this fine friend who just loves this toy so much that he cannot get enough. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.